What's your nightmare story about an ex you divorced or broke up with? This happened to me 21 years ago and I've been in a so-called financial prison ever since. My first wife, Janet, was and still is a real winner. Janet has bipolar II disorder with schizophrenic tendencies. She wasn't that way, at least overtly, when we were married, but early on she recognized that she had issues with anxiety and at first sought out a hypnotist to help her, which worked for about a month. There wasn't any bipolar disorder in her family that would have served as a warning, especially since I didn't even know what it was or what to look out for. What should have sent me running though was the fact that both her parents were pack rats, hoarders. They literally kept everything: candy wrappers, soda cans, milk cartons, old newspapers. Janet however kept her room neat, so I thought it was just her weird Depression-era parents, especially since the hoarding was kept mostly in closed-off rooms and in the basement, out of public view. And the rest of the house was basically neat and clean. It wasn't until we bought our first house that this whole thing started to rear its ugly head. We had a small one-car detached garage, and call me crazy but I figured we'd take turns using it to actually park our cars in, but she had other ideas. Before I knew it, the garage began filling up with crap that she brought from home: antiques, quasi-antiques, random newspapers, and other crap that she'd been saving for years. She was also a relentless auction and garage sale junkie. It started out slowly but got worse as the years went on, and me giving her the benefit of the doubt, I put up with it. Fast forward to the second house, where we now had an antique shop that we opened up. I figured we'd now finally be able to unload all that stuff, but it only got worse, and in fact, we were renting storage space to accommodate all of our so-called stock, her word for it, because there was no more room in the house. Fast forward some more to our third house. Sold the second one due to location issues, and the problem just got worse. Her mental health issues were amping up at that point too. I cannot tell you how many arguments we had over her hoarding and over her refusing to see a different psych because the same one she'd been seeing for years wasn't helping her at all. In the beginning, she had held down a couple of normal jobs, but over time she became unemployable and eventually settled into being a housekeeper and stay-at-home wife. We had a nice house with 3 acres of land, and I enjoyed taking care of it at first. But the house was so packed up with crap it got to the point where I was embarrassed to have anyone over. You couldn't walk into a room without knocking over a pile of useless magazines or plastic cups. At one point I simply had enough. I told her I couldn't do this anymore, and we agreed to take some time off from each other. A much longer story short, I met the woman of my dreams and I filed for divorce. At the time in New Jersey, getting a divorce was strictly a financial equation. As far as the court was concerned, I was the breadwinner, and thanks to her mental state she was unemployable. I could have proven that she was working, but her cash income wasn't reported, and since we filed jointly I could have been screwed for the taxes. In hindsight, that's the route I should have taken, because it would have been far cheaper to pay those taxes than the $2,000 per month I've been paying ever since. You heard right, $2,000 per month until I retire or die. Ridiculous. I've gone back to court twice, at considerable expense, seeking a reduction because from time to time she has found normal jobs earning her own money. Nothing has come out of it except the court siding more and more with my poor ex-wife, who apparently is making it seem like she's entitled to my money. She lives way above her means, and has no problem going to expensive restaurants multiple times a week, getting the latest tech, or going on vacation. All of this using my money. I don't know what to do anymore.